several people that are going to give a testimony for Melanie. She isn't able to be here herself tonight to give her personal testimony, but she's touched so many lives. We have those that just want to come up and share a little bit about how she has touched their lives. And so we're going to start with Missy, who's going to come up and share a few words.
Me and Melody I met her at the James house. We hung out a lot and we joked around a lot. She showed me who Jesus was the first time before I moved away to Judd. Last Monday before, a couple Mondays ago, we made a little joke. But I'm not going to talk about it. No. She always made me laugh every time when I'm upset. Then she's like my brother to me, my sister to me. She's my Ian, I'm her Paul. We raised a doll together. We call him Mitchell. One day in James' house, I was like, mind my own business with Tina, and Melody came up to me and said, "Hi, I'm Melody, how are you?" She was so happy. She made some friends, me, Michelle, and Tina. And I don't remember that one time. It was the big brown building at the James house. We all sat there and talked and joked around. And I made one bad joke, and Melody told me, "You gotta behave." And I looked at her like, I can't. And then we sat and watched some movies in her house. We watched the movie she liked. I don't remember what it's called, but I know I fell asleep at her house. It was boring to me. We got ourselves in trouble so many times at the James house by our landlord. Our landlord told us to keep it down. And Melody made a face at her when she walked away. Gotta taught her well. And I have a chip for Melody, and I'd like her brother to come up here, wherever her brother is, to take the chip for her. She just served it for a year, and she's been working so hard for it, and she was so excited. This is for her 4-year chip, for her being sober for 4 months. Yeah, you're welcome. And she's my best friend, and she will always well. God have a beautiful angel in heaven.
Thank you, Missy. And Linda, who's here, who was also very close, and Jim as well, sure. Stacy, you may have to adjust the camera.
Try that? Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Give me your name.
My name is Jim. Grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I suffer from obesity and just getting older. That's my problem right now. Okay, I first met our wonderful guest here tonight at CR, about 3 years ago. And at about 2 or 3 months later, got to know her. She would sit over here with her friend. What's her name? I think. Hey, Blaine. With Misty. Misty sits here now. And I would see them sitting there by themselves. And very seldom did anybody come to greet them. And that's when we decided, now, don't get confused with this word, adoption. We want to spiritually adopt. And we talked about it, and I couldn't think of any reason that we could not do that. And we visited with those two girls for a while, and they thought it was great. So at the very next church service, I announced to the whole congregation that we were adopting these two girls, and if anybody gives them any trouble, they could come to me. So, okay, and then we took them on, let's see, to the county fair, gave them rides to the clubhouse for the AA meetings, CR meetings, trip to the emergency rooms, grocery stores, anything a good parent would do. Because they belong to us. Anyway, so, we take them on that to eat on after Sunday school or Sunday church service, birthdays, holidays, or just let's go out and have ice cream day. Anyway. Is that yours? That's it. Okay.
My name is Linda, and I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ, and I struggle with codependency. Okay. Melanie was my friend. One of the best. I remember I was trying to think of all the things, but one of the things that kept coming to me was when she decided she wanted to be baptized. She was afraid that since she was so tall, much taller than Pastor Greg, that he would not be able to pull her back up out of the water. So I told her, I visited with her, and I said, you know what? You go talk to Pastor Greg, because I think that he would probably be up for sprinkling you, and you would just have to go up on the stage. And so that's what she did. She talked to Pastor, and that's what they decided. But I'm going to miss her.
As you can see, she was just so much a part of our family, and it's so good. We have a couple more people that are going to share. I'm going to first call on Teresa Davis, if she would come up.
I'm Teresa. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus, and I struggle with addiction, codependency, fear, anxiety, and a whole bunch of other things we won't talk about. Well, porn. Yeah, we talk about it. Porn is a thing. Currently not watching any. So, Melanie, I gave her lots of rides to meetings, AA, NA, CR, church. Every week, she's the one that's out here praising God and hands in the air and singing as loud as she can. And she had a great voice, not always in tune, but she knew every word to every song. And I thought about, getting her up here on the praise team, because we'll try anybody once. But God told me no, and I just had a conversation with her one day. I was like, we need more of you down here, because who else is supposed to lead an example of how to be in the congregation and sing? And we, you guys are important. And moving on, so there's been a few times, at least two that really come to mind, where I was driving to the clubhouse and Melanie was walking away in the exact same spot. Once she was walking to the clubhouse and I brought her there, but we won't count that one. Just got her there a little quicker because she needed to be there. But yeah, she was walking her way out of there, and we got to have a conversation about how about there's an evil force out there that's trying to kill us, destroy us. And he'll use anybody, even your best friend, to get you out of there because he doesn't want you to recover. And I said, get in the vehicle, get in the car, get in the truck, whatever. So she did, and I said, you got to earn that seat. You got to fight for it because it's important. And I learned that in recovery and passed that on. And there's been times where that's been turned around, and she's said the same thing to me when I've been like frustrated, and she's like, you got to earn that seat. And then another thing is Melanie, when she came to our small groups and she shared personal things and things that, I don't know if she shared with you, and it's not my place to share them, because what's said in those rooms stays in those rooms, and if it goes to the grave, it goes to the grave. It goes with me to the grave too. So, but I do know that she missed her dad, and she was in our grief group. We had a grief group for a while, and she always introduced herself as, I'm Melanie, and I'm a faithful follower of Jesus Christ. And a lot of us would be like, I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. But she said, I am a faithful follower of Jesus Christ, and she stood on that. And everywhere she went, she wasn't afraid to say that. Thank you.
We usually call Teresa 1, and then we have Teresa 2. So Teresa Eno is going to come up and share. Or the other way
around. My name is Teresa. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus, and I struggle with addiction. Gosh, it's funny. I walked into the Celebrate Recovery doors, oh my goodness, long time ago. Teresa Davis brought me. And I was like, nope, not me. And I left. It did not come back. And then I remember 3 years, it's been 3 years. Wow. 3 years ago, I walked into the door, and one of the first people to greet me was Melanie. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? But she had the biggest smile, and she was so welcoming. She has, oh my goodness, she is just she's going to be missed. I'm going to miss her a lot. I gave her tons and tons of rides to the clubhouse, to here, to, wherever. She was one of those people, when she called me for a ride, I had no problem doing it. She was always so grateful and so thankful for that ride. And these last 4 months, she has worked so hard for her sobriety. I remember the last conversation. I had with her. I was like, I am so proud of you. I am so proud you have come so, so far. And because there was times that she finally like kind of got it. Like she was calling me when she was struggling. She would call me, like one time she called me at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and I'm like, why are you calling me this early? But I knew it was something serious, so because she doesn't do that. She's not that person. So she called me and she told me everything that was going on. I was like, it's all right, it's all right. You want me to come pick you up? There's a 9 o'clock meeting at the clubhouse. Let's go. And so she was doing so well. And another thing, it was when I found out what happened. I was very determined to make it to Fargo because I didn't want her to be alone. And when I talked to her brother Keith on the phone, he called me and he goes, well, Melanie wants to be a donor. I started laughing. I was like, of course she does. Of course, because she had the biggest heart and she only wanted to help people. And I am so very, very happy that she was able to do that. And she helped so many people in so many different ways. I mean, I'm gonna miss her so very much. And her hackle, her laugh. I remember the last Celebrate Recovery, she was here. She was sitting right there, like kind of where Jean was sitting. And she was just a hackling away. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, give me grace. Melanie, are you crying or are you laughing? Don't worry, Teresa, I'm just laughing over here. And I was like, good. And she's like, you don't even want to know what it's about because it's not good. And I was like, yeah, I figured that, but that's all right. I love Melanie. I'm going to miss her greatly. I'm going to miss her laugh. I'm going to miss her smile. She is an amazing, amazing person, and I'm so glad I get to call her my friend.
Thank you. And we have Alicia. Alicia's here, and she's going to come and share a few words as well.
Hi, my name's Alicia. I am proud to say that I'm a friend of Melanie's. I met her many years ago at Celebrate Recovery. Over the years, we developed a friendship, and Melanie was so very devoted to her faith. She didn't care what other people thought. And one instance that really keeps in mind was there was one day she was struggling, and she comes to me and she goes, "Will you pray for me?" And I've never had somebody come to me and go, "Can you pray for me?" Because I thought, okay, I'll keep you in my prayers when I say them at night or something. But she wanted me to pray right there on the spot. And I had never done it before, and it was really awkward, but I did it. So I probably need more practice on that still, but she was not afraid to say, "Hey, will you say a prayer for me?" and sit down and pray. Let's see. Occasionally we'd have rides back and forth from different activities that we shared, and she just had this strong faith. And when I heard that she, what had happened and she was in the hospital, it made me think of having to pray for her. And I stopped down at Little Christian Library one day, and Sharon goes, and I said, "Oh, I have to go to Fargo." And she goes, "Are you going to stop and see Melanie?" And I didn't, at that point, I was like, "Oh, that's an option, okay." And I told myself, well, if I'm even going to slightly regret it, if I don't, I got to go. And so I did. It was brief, but it was very nice. I was very happy that she had chosen to be an organ donor. And so I sat in the room, talked to her for a little while, and I told her, I said, "You're going to be a hero to somebody." And so I'm glad that she can live on in somebody else. She's definitely in God's hands and a child of God. I gave her the biggest hug I could in that room before I left, and then, said goodbye and see you later. But she's really going to be missed. Melanie, rest easy. You've made a difference in so many lives. Until we meet again, love you.
Now, those were the scheduled speakers that had contacted me. Now we have just a little time. If there's someone that wanted to come up and share, we want to give you the opportunity to do that. That wasn't on my list. We've got 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Okay. Let us know your name.
I'm Becky Stopperworth. I met her through Missy and Nancy, but the one thing I really remember is I was at bingo one night and she was just sitting there and I'm like, hi, do you want to play bingo? And she goes, well, I'm kind of broke right now. So I gave her a couple bucks and told her to go ahead and play bingo, and she happened to win. She goes, oh, here's your $1 back. And I'm like, no, you're fine. She goes, oh, she goes, can we be friends? And I'm like, sure. So the first thing she did is took out her phone, and she goes, you got Facebook? And I'm like, yeah, I got Facebook. So we became friends on Facebook, and she used to text me sometimes when she had problems or just ask me questions. And I'd just give her advice that I could. But I told her, I said, you know, I said, I'm grieving just like you, but you're grieving for your dad, I'm grieving for my daughter. So we just kind of talked about a bunch of different stuff about grieving. She goes, how do you do it? And I just kind of explained some stuff to her. And the one other thing with it is every time she'd see me, she'd come and she'd just give me a hug, and she goes, I'm so glad we're friends.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bobby, and I am a faithful follower in Jesus Christ, and I struggle with addiction. Hi. I met Melanie in church. She was the one in the front, raising her hands. And I remember, meeting her at the clubhouse, too. And every morning, you get into the habit of saying a prayer and you ask Jesus, lead me where you need me, And there were a couple times where Ms. Melanie was struggling. And I don't remember what we were doing or where we were at, but for some reason, I was called to the clubhouse. We were called to the clubhouse. I said, why don't we just swing by there? I wanted some coffee, I think. And why don't we just swing by there, knowing it was locked, knowing nobody was there. But there sat Melanie outside in the cold and drizzle, and she was not having a good day. So there was God leading us where he needed us right then and there. We picked her up, and she couldn't have been more grateful. We took her out for coffee and shopping and got her out of her head, and she was so grateful for that. And I remember, the first time I told her I loved her. I love you, Melanie. She was getting out of the truck one night, because we would give her rides back and forth from the clubhouse too, to celebrate recovery. And one of the first times I told her I loved her, it was after her, our friend Nancy Lou passed away too, and she was struggling with that as well. And she just looks at me and she gave me a big hug and she's like, I love you too. And just that look on her face like, what? And I was like, I do, Melanie. You're my friend. And that face, that face, the look, her eyes got so big and she was like, yeah. And every time she would get out of the truck when we would drop her off, she would always tell us, I love you guys. I love you too. She was like the epitome of unconditional love. She loved everybody. She has so many friends. She never talked. She had, I don't know, she really didn't talk about, her home life growing up, but I know she had never had anything bad to say about you guys. She loved you guys very much. I'm so glad you are here. I'm so glad from the bottom of my heart. I'm just, for you to see Melanie's family here, she has a good family here. We all love her very much, and we're all going to miss her so much. So much. So I'll pass with that.
Hello, my name's Raymond. I'm a faithful believer in Jesus Christ. I struggle with addiction. I was in addiction for 50 years. It's kind of funny, I'd like to thank Pastor Grade, and I would like to thank all of our friends that are here. Because, when God sends an army of angels to say goodbye to one of their sisters, it truly shows something about the person that gets to leave us. And, Melanie may have been born a little bit different, but don't think God didn't give her gifts. She had one of the most infectious laughs I've ever had. One of the greatest smiles I've ever seen. I recall the first time I met her, and I believe it was in Celebrated Recovery here. And she come walking in with a little doll. She wanted me to show me her doll. And being the arrogant, kind of stupid person that I am, I thought, God, I really hope that ain't your only friend. And I look out here in this room. Hey, Melanie, you had more friends than you knew. And that's all she wanted to do. She just wanted to be loved, and she just wanted to be needed like every human. And I tell you what, I won't forget her. It took 50 years of addiction before I finally got to meet her. But she had some of the strongest strengths of any person that I know. She never let life get her down. She never quit trying. She didn't care how many times she got knocked down. She just got back up and did it again. We could all learn something from Melanie. Thank you.
My name is Cheryl. I am going to miss Melanie a lot. The first time I remember meeting Melanie was in Doug's taxi. They came to pick me up from church, and she said, "Hello, my name is Melanie." And she extended her hand, and we shook it, and I said, "My name is Cheryl." And we had lots of visits out here in the coffee bar. I've never seen anybody who had a faith so strong in God as Melanie. And she did come up here every Sunday. She would kneel down. She'd come up here, and the minister said, "Anybody who wants to come up, come up." And you could hear her singing. She was always so happy in front of the BRFs. But there was one incident I remember when she came to me and she said, "Do you have a son named David?" And I said, "Yes." And my son's little boy, Howard, used to come here, and she thought so much of Howard. And she saw him in Heroes, and she says, "Oh, hi, Howard. I sure do love you. I miss you in church. Are you coming back?" And my son started yelling at her and made her cry. Well, she didn't know who the dad was, but she came and she said to me. So I said, "Melanie, I'll take care of it." So I went home and I called my son and I said, "This is the situation. You do not talk to people like that. We're all believers in God. Whether you like it or not, don't put her down. Don't yell at her, and don't tell her that you're not a believer." I said, "That's one of the nicest people there ever is." And the one thing I remember is she said, we were talking about the holidays, and she said, "Christmas is my favorite holiday." And I said, "Well, I like Christmas, but Easter is mine." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, Melanie," I said, "not only did God die on the cross for us and arose from the grave and went through all he went through for us," I said, "and he ascended into heaven." I said, "But it's a time for rebirth." She says, "What do you mean?" I said, "Just like when you get baptized," I said, "and you want to become closer to God, that is a way of us getting a rebirth through him." And I said, "and through his blood." And she said, "You know, I never thought about that like that before." She says, "I will remember that." Well, then a couple Sundays, I was out that door, and she came out this way, and we met right in the middle of the hall. And I said, "I have to have a Melanie hug." And she she hugged me, and I'm like, okay. I said, it's so good to have you in church. I said, I don't get to see you very often. And she said, thank you for being my friend. And that was Melanie.
Hi, I'm Austin. I met Melanie through the clubhouse, and when you guys weren't all giving her rides, she'd walk past my house. I live on the corner of 7th and 3rd, and if me and my daughter were outside, she'd always stop on the corner and just take a drink of her water, and I'd say, are you all right, Melanie? She's like, yeah, I'm just taking a break. And I said, okay. And my daughter was playing with a garden hose one day, and Melanie came walking by, and Emberly was filling up water balloons, and I don't know where Melanie pulled stickers out of, but she always had stickers on her. And anytime she seen my daughter, she'd always ask me the same question, and I'd always be like, Melanie, you asked me this yesterday. Yes, you can give my daughter a sticker. It's fine. And she was like, okay. But they were playing, she was filling up water balloons, and Melanie took these 2 water balloons and threw them right up in the air and landed on her head. And it was a pretty hot day. And she was, oh, that feels so good. And my daughter was like, oh, Dad, I want to do that too. So she started throwing water balloons up, and they were standing on the corner of the road, and Emberly's running over to her bucket with water balloons, run back over to Melanie, and they'd throw water balloons up in the air and stand underneath them and let them get hit in the head with them. And then Melanie made the comment, well, oh, I didn't even think about it. I still got to go to a meeting. And I was like, Melanie, do you want me to give you a ride to your house so you can change clothes? And she goes, yes, I'd appreciate that. Melanie would never ask me, hey, can I get a ride? But if you suggested it to her, she would all for it. Heck yeah. I mean, I'd watch this girl walk in freezing, dropping rain. She would never ask for a ride. But if you offered her a ride, she'd, oh yeah, heck yeah, where are we going? Let's go, you know? And that was one thing that I really appreciated about Melanie. And every time I seen Melanie, I was just telling Teresa this the other day, every time I seen her, she always extend her hand, hey Austin, how are you? And she's like, I got a joke for you. And she'd always tell me a joke every time I seen her, you know, hey, I got this joke for you. And I mean, even if it wasn't funny, she'd start laughing, and like Miss Teresa said, her laugh was so contagious, I would just cackle up laughing. And then Raymond brought up about the doll. My daughter, she tends to carry a doll around with her every now and then. And I think the first initial time I met Melanie, my daughter was not real comfortable with going to the clubhouse. She was like attached to Dad's leg. And Melanie had seen that Emberly had a doll, and I was shooting pool, and I looked over in the corner, and it's Melanie and my daughter playing dolls, and my daughter carries around this little, I don't know, purse thing with all her baby clothes in it, and they're changing this baby's clothes and stuff, having a grand old time. And that was the first time I think Melanie was one of the, besides the people outside of, who knew my daughter outside of the AA clubhouse, just a random person in the clubhouse, I think Melanie was the first one to be able to win my daughter over. And it all just started with a baby doll, just changing clothes on a baby doll. And I remember my daughter saying, Melanie kept trying to put this blouse on her, and I just remember looking over, and Emberly was like, you're putting it on backwards. And I remember Melanie saying, the zipper goes in front. And that was one of the things that I remember about Melanie the most. She is going to be missed for sure. Somebody's got to start telling me jokes at the clubhouse, because that was what I looked forward to the most, you know. Thank you.
I'd like to have Melanie's brother David come up. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Hey everyone, I want to say thank you very much for everything you did over the years to help Melanie out when she needed it, and to be support there for her when others weren't, and to accept her heart for people and her love and her genuine kindness. She struggled with addictions, but she didn't let those overcome her and prevent her from being a better person. And I have a lot of great memories from when we were growing up, from when I was a toddler. There was a picture of her still. She took my high chair, because I was too, apparently I couldn't have it, so I let her have it, and I sat in the big chair like a big boy. And when we got our first house that my parents built, she had her own room, and I had to share a room with 3 brothers and bunk beds. I'm like, this is not fair. Why does she get her own room? I didn't understand. But she liked to talk a lot. She filled the airways in our house, so my brother Brad and I were the quiet ones who spent our time listening and observing, so we didn't get a whole lot of talking practice. She went ahead and entertained everybody, but sometimes it went a little far, and our mother would tell her it was time to shut up. Out of all the people's lives she touched, I'm so happy to see how many people were here to help her when she needed it and didn't let her down. And that means a lot to me that you guys did that and that you showed up tonight for her and all the things you've said and the ways that she impacted you, because that is just a beautiful thing. I would love for someone to someday be able to say that about me, because I didn't think someone like that, someone like my sister's personality as a child, would achieve such great things and the things in life that really matter. Thank you.
Thank you. As we close this section, I just wanted to share scripture. Fortunately, I happened to be in Fargo when Melanie was there, and I got the call, and they told me where she was at, so my wife was with me, so right away we jumped in the car and went across town to Sanford Hospital and went up to her room so that we could be with her. And it was kind of hard to see her in that condition, but she was in a position of, did you want to say something? Yeah, okay.
My name is Beck Foggard, and I am a true believer and an addict. And here today I stand. She called Daddy Dougie every Sunday morning for a ride to church. And then she looked at me and she said, "Grandma, are you going to go out to eat today?" Because she was hungry. They now have a new granddaughter. And Melanie will be greatly missed. I've lost too many lives. All 3 kids. I'm fighting a lot of things. But I'm here.
Thank you, Becky. As we rushed over to the hospital to see her, like I said, there was something in the room. There was a certain peace that was there that you couldn't put your hand on, but it was there. And you knew it was the presence of God. And she was peacefully laying there. And I read this scripture to her, Psalms 23. I said, "Melanie, I want to read scripture to you." I said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And I believe that tonight, that Melanie is dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. And if she could come back and do anything and say anything to us now after experiencing the greatness of heaven, it would say, folks, I want to see you there. I want to see you all there. It's worth it. And the way that she had that infectious smile that would brighten up a room, she says it will brighten up your life to come to know Jesus, because it was worth it all. It was worth it all. In closing, we do have a slide presentation that we're going to present, but I want to close with this scripture. In peace, I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalms 4, verse 8.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever, my Lord, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Though Satan should buffet, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control, that Christ hath regarded my helpless estate, and hath shed his own blood for my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well about you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a